Well, I want to welcome all entrepreneurs and all people who love the oils. You're in for a treat tonight. We have a special guest, Patty McLean, with us tonight. And the reason we're having these classes is we were looking at how do we master our craft and who do we learn from? And we wanted to share with you some leaders that we think have given good value to others. They've proven themselves that they have a niche area that might give you ideas for your product usage. And Patty is one of those leaders. Patty is a great leader in Young Living, but she also has a master's in education. In secondary education, she's also a speaker and education consultant. And she is an advocate for youth wellness, as well as student empowerment advisor for a campaign where everybody matters. Patty's unique approach focuses on wellness, creativity, compassion, confidence, positivity, and mindfulness in order to empower teens to be their best. This just hit home with me. I think that all of us have that enthusiasm to empower our youth to be entrepreneurs. And I am just delighted to have you as our speaker tonight, Patty. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. And I just watched the Facebook Live. If you guys haven't had a chance in the Entreprenoilers group to watch Connie's Facebook Live from earlier tonight, it sort of epitomized a lot of the things I want to touch on tonight, because I think that working with teenagers is not that different than working with adults, but it's a unique opportunity to give them tools and model things for them in a way that will allow them to make better choices. And so a lot of the work I do is about choices, and I'm just really excited to be here. And Connie, thank you so much for all that you've done for the entire group, and I know that you've inspired me, and I don't know that I would have had the courage to kind of step out of my comfort zone at this level if I didn't have the support and the team, and just feel like I was that much of a part of the Young Living family. So I just wanted to make sure that I thanked you for all of your inspiration and guidance. You were a teacher too, right?
Exactly, and you are so welcome. And I do, if you haven't seen Patty's book, we have it listed on that list of resources in the files. So go up there and make your order, and we would love to have that passed on to others. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I was a high school teacher for about 11 years, and through that role, I was also an instructional coach. So I got to do a lot of professional development, and that fueled my passion for supporting people in a holistic way, which really connects to our Young Living mission, and knowing that you can't really empower a student or a teacher to be their best if they're stressed or if they're below the wellness line or any of those things. So it was such a perfect marriage when I was introduced to the Young Living lifestyle, as I was noticing how stressed out my kids were and how stressed out my colleagues were. So that's sort of how all of this began. And I do have a little slideshow that I'm going to share with everybody tonight. And I'm also most excited that we have a 16-year-old entrepreneur, Emily Burgess, is here. So towards the middle, you're going to get to hear her story and find out right from a teen why she is so passionate about the Young Living lifestyle, and she also started her Young Living business already at 16, which inspires me. I got to meet her this weekend, and I'm really excited to hear from Emily. So once I give you a little background, I'm going to point out some of the highlights from the book, and also a lot of you have reached out to me interested in hosting your own teen wellness workshops, and I love that idea, and I want to help in any way I can. So I have some pointers and some tips for those of you who are interested in empowering the young people in your life through that sort of an approach, because it's so similar to what we're so used to doing with Young Living. And at the end, I did build in some time. I really am interested in your questions, your feedback, because this is a really organic process. And my style is generally not to do the talking. So the reason I earned the title of the Teen Empowerment Advisor is that I generally just encourage them to solve the problems and come up with their ideas, and I support them. So it's sort of a new approach for me to do the talking tonight, but I do want to give you some of the background and hopefully give you some ideas that you can take to empower your organizations and just to help the young people in your life. So let me find my share screen button here. Hopefully you guys can see this. If you're new to Zoom, the pictures are probably over in the right-hand corner now, and you could change how many of those you see. If you just want to play around with that, you can scroll it up so that you can just see whoever's talking, or you can see a couple different ones. So you can play around with your screen view. From this share screen view, I cannot see the chat though. So if you guys are leaving questions in the chat, I promise I will get back to them. I just can't see them at this time. So as I'm going, if you want to share anything, please make sure that you get it in the chat box there, and I'll make sure to answer everything.
And I can see it, Patty, so I'll let you know if it's important to do before the end.
Okay, great. That's perfect. Thank you. All right. As Connie mentioned, I am the author of the new Teens Guide to Wellness, Purpose, and Abundance. And thanks to the amazing Young Living community, it was Amazon #1 new release in its category. It's sort of a niche category, teen wellness, but I was really excited to be able to create this resource and get it out to everybody. And that is book. And here's a little bit about me. As I mentioned, I am a former high school teacher and instructional coach. More than that, my passion, aside from stress management with kids, was to encourage them and to give them hope, because hope is one of the words that has guided me along my path. And it actually started when I was really young. So one of the reasons I am passionate about the Young Living lifestyle for young people is that I know that harmful toxins in our environment can impact people of any age. And I learned that when my husband, it was way before my Young Living time, but my now husband was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma when we were 22 years old. And when we were talking to his oncologist about the possible causes, or, that was a really serious diagnosis at a really young age, and they just kept talking about environmental toxins, and we didn't really know what that was at 22. And I wish I knew what Young Living was, because now, thanks to Young Living, the environmental toxins are very minimal. But when my husband was sick, a lot of people in our lives gave us hope. And actually at our wedding, there was little bracelets that everybody wore that had hope, and we really attribute that kind of good vibe to his recovery. He's well now, and we actually were able to become parents. So there's lots of happy parts to that story. But our little guy is super sensitive to anything synthetic. So it's because of him, actually, that I was able to find Young Living, and because of his sensitivity and Melissa Russo's enthusiasm. For those of you who know Melissa, she kind of invited me over one day and just said, "Hey, you want to smell these oils?" And that was the end of it. But my students actually took all of these pieces to a whole new level in my last few years of teaching. They decided that they wanted to be a voice for positivity and be a voice for sustainable, positive changes. And they wanted to focus on kindness and sort of shift the dialogue, because they felt that young people were always being told what not to do. And they were always being told, really devastating statistics about all the challenges they had to face, but they wanted to change the narrative. And so they called their movement Hope. And I had nothing to do with it. Like I said, I like to empower them and then get out of their way. So they brought hope to an entire school district. And that kind of started my whole journey and connected me with the Everyone Matters movement, which is a global movement. And I get to help with school programming in 8 countries now. So this all kind of was happening simultaneously as I built my Young Living business. I was silver in 6, and realized that this is my passion, this is my purpose. And when I was able to take my work with the teens and my knowledge from Young Living and marry the two, it's been phenomenal for people of all ages, actually. And that's one of the secrets that I meant to mention in the last slide, is that the teen book actually works pretty well for everybody. I've been getting a lot of feedback from people of all ages that are reading it, and it's very conversational and informal and interactive because I wanted to engage the young people. But I hope those of you who don't have teens, or even if you do have teens and want to read it together, that there's some stuff in there that will work for all of you. And that brings me to the big ideas. These are the big ideas from the teen book, and I also created a parent and teacher guide that's free for anybody that wants to download it. It's free on my website. But these are the big ideas that I have kind of focused on throughout all of this work of taking Young Living to the teens. And it's really, for me, totally about fostering empowerment, because a lot of young people feel that they don't have a voice, or feel that they need to be a certain age before they can do big things or make a difference. And they don't realize that it's the everyday little things that are the things that make the big difference. So I just love to give them that power and show them different ways that they can exercise it, or just most of the time they show me the ways. So that leads to the second big idea, which is just emphasizing choices. I do teen empowerment workshops on a regular basis at my wellness center. And what I hear from a lot of kids, especially ones that are making really destructive choices, is that they aren't even very aware that there's other choices. And that resonated with me completely with my story, because I didn't know there were non-toxic alternatives. I didn't know that natural wellness even existed. So just opening it up to those opportunities, allowing them to have choices, not only with their products, but also choices with their relationships and choices with their thoughts. It's such a powerful thing to encourage young people to pay attention to the power of their thoughts. And I love this third bullet the most because it goes great with our seed to seal guarantee. But when you're working with young people, especially teenagers, it's probably the most beneficial in my experience to just plant the seeds and let them kind of play around and discover and experience. And we all know that from Young Living. We know that the oils speak for themselves. So when you allow young people to have that experience for themselves, it's transformative. And just planting those seeds, getting them to understand that they can feel good naturally. So many of the kids I work with that are struggling or in recovery, that's another project I'm working on. I'm helping to open a recovery high school for teens who are in recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. And when I talk to them, so many of them talk about their quest to feel good. And I'm so blessed that we have all these tools to help young people feel good without those destructive choices. So that all leads to this conversation, and the conversation piece is really empowering too, just asking them what they think and, you know, getting them to explore. Hopefully Emily is going to further our conversation here in a minute, but one of the best pieces of feedback I always get from the young people that I work with is that I am willing to listen, that since I ask a lot of questions and don't usually offer a lot of answers, the conversation piece is really important to them, because that they want to know that they have a say to an extent, and they want to learn, and they want to know what their choices are and be a part of that conversation. So I love being able to facilitate that. And last but not least, the one that ties all these together is just the idea of embodying the lifestyle. I can't tell you how many of my students have asked me why I smile all the time, or you know, how I manage my stress. And a lot of the kids that I know, well, they're older now, a lot of them are teachers themselves, but when I was first teaching and my husband was sick and I was a new teacher and I lost my brother in a motorcycle accident, there was all of these really stressful things happening simultaneously, and the kids wanted to know, you know, what the secret was. And so mindset comes up a lot, and just showing them what's possible, showing them what it looks like to take care of yourself. Self-care is emphasized so much in the book. The book is probably 3/4 wellness and just a little bit of purpose and abundance. And that's intentional, because without the wellness part, the purpose and abundance part are really, really difficult. So just being a product of the product, we say that all the time as business builders and Young Living members, but that goes the same for the kids, because the Young Living lifestyle as a whole, the idea of, toxin-free living and empowerment, that is something we can embody just as much as that is being a product of the product. And that's the thing that the young people really love to see. There's so many kids who are passionate about the environment, who are passionate about creating sustainable changes. I get goosebumps just thinking about it, but a lot of them feel powerless and helpless and just want to be activists in that way. So Young Living gives them all of those opportunities. And that brings me to my little list of, this was a blog I wrote actually right before I decided to do the book, and the blog was pretty powerful. And a lot of people were like, why do teens need Young Living? Like, we all have read a lot about babies in Young Living and pets in Young Living. And so there's all these great things, but they're like, what is it about Young Living that really speaks to teens? And I have to say the number one thing is stress, because kids are really stressed out in so many different ways right now. So usually my gateway to introducing teens to Young Living is to help them with their stress. And it's interesting, even the act of taking deep breaths while like smelling the oils, just getting them to cover their nose and take that deep breath with a little bit of stress away, they feel that. And it's incredibly powerful. And that leads them to start exploring a little bit more, knowing about things like wellness. A lot of people who are young aren't focused on illness because, when we're young, that's, for most of us, hopefully, the idea of illness is sort of a distant concept. And so it's perfect for our above the wellness line approach to get them to keep their wellness. And they feel things, their energy levels change, they get tired. So there's so many ways to get them to understand wellness. And number 3 is kind of a funny one, but any of you who have teenagers or who have taught 9th graders in the summertime, you know that purification is amazing. My friend Megan, I think she might be on the call. She's in my downline. She actually found a way to turn the fan in her room into a diffuser with some peppermint. So getting the smells out's good. But the toxins, I love how many kids are starting to look at labels. There's the awesome new app, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's called Think Dirty, and you can scan your personal care products with it. So there's definitely the stereotype of teenagers with their body sprays and their hair products and things like that. But in my experience, if they're aware of what's in there, they're not as likely to embrace those things because they get it. So Think Dirty's been a lot of fun. The kids have a blast with that. The 5th thing on this list is one of my favorite things of Young Living, and that's just the idea of connection. So you get connected to so many different levels when you're in Young Living. There's the community, there's your team, there's the company as a whole. There's just this energy and awesomeness that comes with Young Living that really fulfills a need, especially for the kids that don't feel like they fit into a particular area. There's such diversity in our community that it's the most welcoming and inclusive place, because you could pretty much find somebody that you resonate with, and that is a beautiful thing. And that also ties into the idea of hope, because the kids I work with love the idea of the Young Living Foundation. And that's because they want to make a difference. They want to find that purpose. They want to help people. And I think we all do to an extent. I don't mean to exclude adults when I'm talking about teenagers, but especially younger teens, they have a lot of time and energy that some of us don't have as adults. And giving them projects like the Soul Hope Project, or just making them aware of what their change can do and how much that makes a difference, and how that ties into the 7th thing. And that's just the idea of saving the planet, sustainability, and the things that kids have done for Earth Day, and I'm sure you've seen some great YouTube videos of young activists talking about the need for good nutrition and sustainability. And it's just something that speaks to so many of us, and young people have the energy and the connection. As a whole group, they're a force to be reckoned with. I always told my students, like, if all of you guys decided one day to just stop buying like Nikes or stop eating at a particular business, their demographic is so powerful that it would do some, it would cause a shift. And when they start looking at things that way, especially in terms of helping the planet and helping people in need, it gets them really excited. And that ties into ULA. So for those of you who are familiar with ULA, it's living a life that's balanced and growing. And interestingly, the majority of the kids I work with are one extreme or the other. So they both need ULA. So I work with teens in recovery, but I also work with a lot of high achieving, overachieving, perfectionist type teens who are just completely overwhelmed by being involved in too much and striving too hard that they burn out. So I love to teach teens ULA, and the ULA guys have been super supportive of my work since I contacted them probably 2 years ago. And so they know that I use their book with teens, and it's just really cool to get teens to have that kind of perspective, because they're so wise, and they really see things in a powerful way if you plant those seeds. And that is why they're also great business builders. Number 9, I don't know about you guys, but if I could have had Young Living as a summer job when I was 16, I think my life would probably look a little different. So that's going to be my segue to Emily here in a minute. But the 10th thing is just the idea of being a change. Connie mentioned encouraging entrepreneurship, and it's interesting. A lot of the public schools I work in, that's not even really touched on very much. They're still very traditional in what they offer kids as far as opportunities for the future. And my godson actually was not strong academically, and he's such a people person, and he loves to help people. He's a yellow, but I think that he would be the most phenomenal entrepreneur, but there's still a lot of programming and structures in place that make kids think that they need to do things differently. So just kind of encouraging them to follow what they want to do. And that is my intro to all of you getting to meet the amazing and talented 16-year-old Emily Burgess, because she is kind of tackling all 10 things on this list. So I'm going to stop my share so she can have the focus here. Could you guys unmute yourself, Karen? Do you see where the button is, Emily?
There we go. Hi, I'm Emily Burgess. I am a teen oiler, and I just started being in the business around March when I first purchased my starter kit. And I feel like it's going well so far. I mean, I'm getting there.
She's going through the game plan boot camp right now, so we're making major strides. So major strides.
Okay, so a lot of people usually want to know how it is when a 16-year-old tries to get into a business and what got them into oils. For me, it was just in my house. She had a few oils here and there, and it wasn't really until this year, last summer, until we started really getting into the whole oil usage. And I just kind of just went with it, and Christmas time hit, and I got so many new oils for me personally that was mine now, thanks to my parents, and I use them constantly. And when my mom was talking to my Aunt Julie about being 16, when you turn 16, you can become a distributor for Young Living and you can make money off of this. And I was just thinking that would be pretty cool. It took me a while to really think about it and actually decide, hey, I want to get a own starter kit for myself. I want to benefit myself and make me a better person for the future, so I'm not always down in the dumps. And so March, I purchased it, and it came in. I got so very excited. And I've been constantly using them ever since. It's been a really good experience for me with the whole oils. Right now in front of our computer, we have like 10 of my oils that I've used just in front, just so like I can like feel like that safety net right there. But becoming a distributor was a little tough because I am a person who is just so needs to have it done, needs to have it like perfect. It needs to be completely together before I move on to the next phase. And when I was sitting down and I had to fill out paperwork for like game plan, I'm just like, I don't have anybody underneath me. I don't have this. I don't have any of this. So I just got all in a tizzy and I just cried. And I'm the type of person that like, if it's not done, I just flip out. But then I had some lovely people to reassure me that it takes time. Finally, I got my first person under me, which is my best friend. She heard about oils because I started bringing them to school in my little case that I carry with me everywhere. She wanted to learn more. She came to a few classes. She finally purchased one, and it made me so happy that I was helping somebody else benefit themselves and make a good change for their future and their family and their lifestyle. It really is amazing when you get to see the change of somebody else coming, and it is so happy, to be honest. But I actually, since I actually got her signed up as under an ER too, and it's good that I have her under ER with me because we're going through this together. She has nobody, but I have one person, so we're kind of like in the same little area. I actually just got my business cards because I'm going to a vendor event with my aunt over the weekend, and I'm very excited because this will help me to talk about it and just be more, get people aware of like the oils that are around us that are plant-based and they benefit you and they can make you happier. They can make you live a non-toxic lifestyle. And it really has changed our household a lot. We went from using toxic sprays to wash down our tables to now using thieves cleaner, which is, by the way, smells amazing. Just gonna have that in there.
I have to say, I think the funniest thing about when Emily's talking about like sharing, she now is known as like the oily guru at her high school.
Oil dealer, actually.
Yeah. So what she's been doing is talking about oils with not only the teens, but talking to oils with the teachers at school as well. Mm-hmm. And because it's our lifestyle at home. So when I tell you that on any given day, I send a purple organza bag with thieves spray and samples so she can give to her teachers because they're trying to clean her desk with Clorox wipes and she's having a meltdown.
It was so interesting when one of my teachers, history teachers, got chalk all over the desks, and he's like, okay, I'll just spray all the desks. He came to my desk. He's like, do you want me to spray? I was like, no. I need you to get the spray out of here. Get it away. I am going to bring you an all-natural based cleaner that will help to, be more toxic friend. No, not toxic. Not non-toxic. And he just looked at me and he's like, okay. Yeah. So the next day I came into class and I said, here you go. Handed it to him and he's like, okay. And he used it. And I was very glad to see that because it always, when you're a 16-year-old and you're going to school and you're around all these germs and all these toxins because the teachers aren't really aware of it and they have like these 50-cent cleaners and the school's like, hey, awesome, because it's low price, but it has so much toxins in it. So it starts there. That's where most of the toxins come from and you don't really realize it around you. So then when I'm able to like bring in thieves cleaner for teachers to make sure that it's not germs and it's not toxic and it's not going to kill my body. It makes me happier. I've shared with so many people at school, and some of the people that I don't really know come up to me and ask me, oh my gosh, you smell so good. What perfume is that?
Yeah.
I have to say, it's not really perfume. It's this little thing.
Yeah.
It's an essential oil. It's not something that I'm putting on my body that's going to make me feel weird and maybe break out into hives and make me get all weird inside. It's something that's going to like either help benefit me and my feelings, but also while I'm doing that, it's going to make my body like me more. Like it's going to make me actually like feel good and healthier. And it truly is awesome. One of my friends that I actually share oils with, she came over for one of my classes and she just started joking around with me. And she's like, you know what? There's a few people that are starting to call you the oil dealer. And I was just like, okay, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
And she came over and she uses oils in her house. She does not have a lot of oils. So I'm trying to get her under me as, you know, but it takes time because some people are skeptical. Words. So anyway, but it really does take time because there are some people that don't really believe.
Yeah.
So when you have
that's adults too.
That is adults too. But my generation, we're more open to things, and we actually we look around and we see, and like there's kids at my school that will be in politics and they'll know about what's going on around the world, and then you have this opening up to oils, and they're like, hey, that's really cool. They don't shut it down immediately, but they're like, maybe, because you know that they will like to learn more about it. And I feel like being in the generation that we have today, 16-year-olds, it is a good start for targeting to produce oils and get them onto the healthy, cleaner side of life. It really works, and because people want to learn more and be better for themselves, because believe it or not, we do live in a generation where society does judge a few people. So when you get to show people, hey, you don't need to feel bad about yourself, or you don't need to go through a hard time. There are things that can help you, and you just have to believe in yourself too. And it really helps when you have somebody there with you. So, I mean,
I think as Emily's parent, Patty had a big plant the seed moment with me about being a 16-year-old distributor when we were having a Zoom call and we were doing a private chat, and I said Emily wanted the premium starter kit, and I said, you know, when she asked me that question, I thought that was a little strange because I'm thinking, okay, I've been in this for 2 years. We've got all this oil. You've got your own diffuser. You've got your own oils. Why do you want your own kit? And then it dawned on me. And so Patty, you know, planted the seed. But I think the biggest thing is at 16, you're trying to find yourself and you're trying to figure out who you are and where you belong. And there's a lot of different things going on and a lot of pressure and stress and emotion. And as a parent, what I love the most about this whole process is that she has found a community that is embracing everything she does. And, you know, she does get that at school, but she also gets that here. And she's learning business building tools, and she's meeting people that are giving her ideas and suggestions. And I think it makes her feel more comfortable about her decisions. And I think what's great is that, you know, I never thought that at 16, you know, she could do it. And she's sitting here. I mean, her first person, it wasn't just sign up for the premium starter kit. It was sign up for the PSK and get on Essential Rewards. And then, you know, she's passing out invitations and she's Snapchatting about the oils, and people are writing her back going, wait, what is this? And do you have a class that I can come and learn from? So I think the biggest thing is just, you know, she's really talking about this being a lifestyle. And what's also nice is that she has the ability to have a right now part-time job that can support her as well, her oily habit. But I do think it's good. And you know, my husband and I are we're very supportive of her. We're very proud of her. And, you know, everything's a learning process. So we're going through a lot of FDA compliance right now.
Oh gosh.
There needs to be a teen oiler book on FDA compliance. Yeah, but no, I mean, I think it's good. I think, Patty's really just opened the door for them to realize that at 16 years old and at 13 years old or whatever, they can take their own body into their own hands and say, I want to make sure that I'm being well. And then we give them the tools and plant that seed and say, this is how you can do it. And so that's where we're at. But yeah, it's been a great journey so far. So, and doing this together is even better. So.
That is so beautiful. If I can pop in here for a minute, Emily, I just want to, I just lost my screen here. I just want to commend you. Your genuineness comes over the screen so well. I love your posturing. You own your story. You own your passion. And let me read to you just some of the comments. Megan goes, woohoo, Emily, you're a rock star. I was sending you, I believe you're an excellent communicator, and I love that you shared your decision process. That was very important for you to share. Tara McCullough says, you are an excellent speaker. It's wonderful to hear your story. And then the other thing I wanted to point out to you is one of the things I admire about you, Emily, is that you powered through the unknown part, even though there were tears and frustration. Believe me, as adults, we go through that too. And I love that you inspired us. You push through and you do it. And I love what you're doing. Your impact is going to be so powerful in the years to come. Amy Lapp says, I love hearing your story, Emily. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Michelle says, Emily, I love your excitement. You're going to be a diamond. Enjoy the ride. And Julie Heitman says, let's see, spam cringe. She loves you. She's going to start. And then Nancy is saying, thank you so much for sharing. I love your story and sharing about the thieves cleaner with your teacher. So everybody's cheering you on, Emily. That was very powerful. And so I just want to share with you, and Karen, as a parent, that's so cool that you inspired her. And believe me, she'll be paying for her own college with her Young Living account. So congratulations on that one. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Patty, to finish up. But congrats, Emily.
Thank you. Thank you for the wishes, and thank you for all of that nice little confidence booster for myself, because I honestly am so scared of speaking in general to like bigger crowds. So I really appreciate that, guys.
Well, a leader pushes through the fear, and you did that. Your story and your presentation style is excellent.
Thank you.
Wow, I don't know if I want to follow that. I'm so glad that she was able to be here. Emily's and her mom are actually sideline sisters of mine, so we met through a training under our upline, but it was amazing, and we got to meet in real life last weekend at a game plan event. And Emily, just so you know, I also have all my oils lined up in front of my computer, and I have an original Valor roll-on. So it's not just you. There's probably like 5 bottles open under my computer every time I talk to him. I have some slides I'm going to go through pretty quickly now, just to give you guys some ideas of different ways that you could take this. I loved Emily's story about sharing the thieves with our teachers. I actually had to do that too. I mentioned that my little guy's sensitive to synthetics. He actually came home from kindergarten this year with chemical burns from the hand sanitizer. So guess who got a big bottle of thieves sanitizer in her classroom? And she loves it, and all the kids love the way it smells, and she's diffusing in the classroom. I actually have an appointment next week to go to a different local elementary school, not my son's, but another one. The administrators reached out to me to find out about diffusing in the classroom and supporting the kids that way. So I know we've had discussions in Entreprenoilers about schools, and some are way more strict than others, and that's been my experience too, but I will take the foot in the door wherever I can get it as far as just using them in that setting. So let me go back here to the PowerPoint. Oops. Hang on one sec. I gotta hit share screen before I hit that button. Okay.
Did you get booted out here?
Oh, nope. Can you see me now?
Okay, yep.
Okay. All right. Let me make this full screen. Okay. Oh, there's Emily and I when we met last weekend. She was one of the first people to read the book too, and the feedback was so great, so I have to thank her for that. But when I wrote the book, if you have it or if you get it, it's really open-ended, and that's intentional because I want the kids to figure things out and explore. So I do make recommendations for products, but then I leave blank lines because I want to know what their favorite oils are to support positivity or to, you know, really enhance their experience with sports or whatever they're doing. So I left that open-ended, and there's lots of reflection, and there's also a social media component. I'm not going to get too much into that tonight, but I have a lot of positive social media challenges in there because that's part of their lifestyle. So I want them to see that they can find good stuff online just like we find good stuff with Young Living. And here are some of my best tips for facilitating teen wellness workshops. And honestly, if I could encourage one thing out of everything, it's just the idea of connection. And I think Emily's story just completely epitomized that. As soon as she felt the connection from her community and from her upline and now the entire team, it's so exciting and empowering. And once once we feel connected, we learn better, we perform better. It's just such an amazing opportunity. So my main goal every time I facilitate a teen wellness workshop is to make sure that I connect directly with every single participant, which wasn't always possible or easy when I was teaching public school classes of 30 kids. I mean, I did my best, but the kids who need the most support crave that connection. Open-mindedness is another key to the wellness workshops because the lifestyle that a lot of young people are exposed to right now is overwhelming for some of us. Not sure if any of you guys are familiar with the really popular Netflix series 13 Reasons Why, but it really chronicles a high school scenario, and it's like the most negative and tragic aspects of it. It's well done, and it's really controversial, but my goal is to sort of give the reasons why teens are awesome and why they make good choices, and that requires keeping an open mind to their experience and also emphasizing that there's no right or wrong way. I want to emphasize that to all of you as you hopefully go and share with teens in your life, because I think so many of us hold ourselves back from going into different things or deviating from the script or just trying new things, new ways to share, new ways to empower because we want to make sure we do it right. But this is what Connie said in her Facebook Live earlier too, finding that your uniqueness that you can bring to the table, that's what the kids are looking for. They want authenticity. They don't really want anything canned. So I've been approached so many times about creating programming that has scripts and is like step by step. And I really struggle with that because honestly, the key is just to get the teens excited to be with you. And it's really hard to get them excited if you're trying to be somebody that you're not. And so I loved that message today in the Facebook Live, but, and have fun. There's this level of seriousness that happens sometimes with business, and business does need to be serious, but even a lot of kids will come in for the first time and sit down like they're in trouble or like they are counseling or something. That's my disclaimer. I probably should have said that towards the beginning. I am not a mental health professional by any means. And that's one thing I really want to convey. Anybody can do this. It's not because I have a teaching degree that I am successful with the teen wellness workshops. The main reason I'm successful has nothing to do with my degree and everything to do with the fact that I love to connect. I keep an open mind, and I really like to have fun. I'm a blue. So the adding fun in. Nobody wants to do something that's not fun, but we can make wellness fun. The Young Living lifestyle is probably one of the most fun things on the entire planet. So bringing them into that, knowing that making good choices not only feels good, but is fun, that's awesome. Like, it's hard to sit kids down and just lecture to them, and I could go on and tell them about the impacts of toxins on their lifestyle and the long-term ramifications and give them statistics, or I can make them feel good and practice gratitude and get them excited to help other people. And so I usually go with that latter approach. So those are my main bullets there, but here are some things that I cover in the book as far as products and things like that you can do. Basically just getting them to understand the difference between wellness and illness, and talking about self-care. Honestly, in my entire journey of personal and professional development, this is the one thing I wish somebody would have told me about sooner, because I really thought that self-care was selfish. And it's amazing how many young people feel that way too. I actually had a group of 10th graders who were struggling to tell me their strengths, because they didn't want to own their strengths because they were afraid they were going to make somebody else feel bad. And I could see where that comes from, but it honestly broke my heart. So I wanted to really find ways to emphasize self-care, toxin-free living, and like I said earlier, that feeling good naturally. And all the personal care products are great for that. There's the Think Dirty app that I mentioned earlier. If you're not familiar with it, it's a free download. But just think of all of the amazing personal care products we have. I have used so many face washes over the years, struggling with my complexion, and the Orange Blossom face wash, phenomenal. And the kids love it, and it smells good. And just making their own sprays and scrubs. Right now, one of the fads, I don't know if it's a fad where anybody else is, but the kids around here love to make slime. And Emily's nodding her head. Okay. Well, there's a non-toxic way to make the slime. And a lot of the kids are scenting their slime with toxic scents and lotions and things that are very harmful. And so I was joking with them the other day that I was going to start my own Instagram and call it Mindful Slime and use all essential oils in it. Maybe I'll do that. But so personal care is one awesome gateway to teens. Another thing is just getting them to be aware of their bodies in a way that's not overwhelming, the moderation aspect, because a lot of us of all ages, we tend to take things to extremes. So getting them to explore nutrition. In the book, I have them write down what they eat, how they move their bodies, and then how they feel when they do that. So you could tell them that when they eat a lot of processed foods that they're going to feel sluggish, or you can have them figure it out for themselves. And that one generally works a lot better in my experience. And I love my Ditch and Switch challenge. That's just getting them to identify where some of the toxins are and to decide where they want to do it. So I know I didn't embrace the Young Living lifestyle overnight. I was economical about it. And I also, loved the oils, but wasn't really getting into the other things for a little while. So they can ditch their products, but they can also ditch toxic thoughts. Like if they catch themselves being negative, how do you replace that with a non-toxic thought? And so that's a big part of it. And that ties into, these are the products for body support, but this is my sarcastic slide because, somebody's drawing on it. I didn't know when you shared the screen that other people have access to the tools. So not sure.
I don't know that either. I don't know who's doing that.
I didn't know that until I did a similar presentation a couple weeks ago, and somebody said they didn't realize they were drawing on my screen. They thought they were just drawing on their own. So
that's funny.
Yeah, personal care products or the body support products are pretty much everything. But let me see if I can erase some of those things. I don't know that I have an eraser.
I don't have any tools either.
So whoever has access.
I think it's okay though, Patty. We can all read it. So.
All right. Well, if you have the tool and you know how to erase it and you have access to it, you're welcome to. But the next arena, this is actually my biggest passion. I joke in the book a little bit about nutrition and exercise being things that I'm still learning, and I like to be authentic about that. I don't want to ever come across as having all the answers, and I like to learn from my kids. joke that I have 2 master's degrees and most of my doctorate, but I credit most of my true learning to things that teenagers have taught me. So they get to learn a lot here, but I love exploring mindfulness, positivity, goal setting, ULA, the aroma freedom technique. Dr. Ben Perkis helped me so much. I don't think this book would have been written if it wasn't for aroma freedom. And I do workshops on aroma freedom technique just for teens, and it's great to see their clearings and the way that they can overcome limiting beliefs with the essential oils. So having a healthy mind is the second part of wellness there. And here's some of my favorite oils for mind support. And of course we have Ningxia and Mindwise. And like I said, in the book, there's lots of blanks here because I know that I didn't cover all of the products that, support positivity, the feelings kit, the ULA oils, they're all in there. So the next thing, and the last area of wellness, so I break the wellness into mind, body, spirit. And for the spiritual wellness, I just talk about connection on 3 levels: connection to self, connection to others, and then connection to the higher power, as however they see that. We have tons of great products for that too. So some people really focus on this. This is their niche, and you could definitely empower kids that way too. And I talked about purpose a little bit, but I do have a slide here because instead of asking my teens what they want to be when they grow up, I ask them how they want to feel. I ask them what problems they want to solve. I ask them what makes them awesome, because they can look at all those things in context and see what some of the Young Living Foundation things are, see what some people do as far as their the leaders, and how they find different niches and things like that. Introducing them to that, and then last but not least, the abundance part. And abundance isn't just, we know this, that the Young Living vision of abundance isn't just financial abundance. It's about that abundance mindset. And I really wish I would have had one of those when I was younger too, but focusing on gratitude. And I love to tell the kids that you can't feel stressed and blessed at the same time. So practicing gratitude. I don't think I've ever done a workshop that didn't incorporate gratitude in some way, just to have them feel that experience. And my regular teens that come all the time have their own gratitude journals, and it's really transformative to work that into their understanding of abundance. Mm-hmm. And there's so many other things you could do here besides facilitating teen wellness and empowerment workshops, just helping them create an action plan and being that support and accountability for them and the encourager. Sometimes if we want to try something new and different, no matter how old we are, it's scary. So if we know that we are plugged into the right tools and we can create that action plan, and that could be the ULA plan or, whatever works well for you. And those are just all my websites and stuff. If anybody wants to follow along online, there's a Entrepreneuler Facebook page, a Facebook group, Instagram, and Twitter, because social media is really, really important. So I figured that creating a presence there would help support them in those ways too. And I think I mentioned it earlier, but there is a free downloadable companion guide for the book for teens, or for parents and educators, and that's on my website. I'm going to stop the share here because it looks like we have a few more minutes and we can answer some questions and see what you guys thought. And if you want, is there any?
Well, I'll tell you what, Patty, you have just totally awakened my mind. I loved everything you shared. And one thing that keeps popping in my head, teachers, meaning anyone who's teaching, a parent, a friend, whatever that, but you are a teacher that not only challenges their students, but you inspire your students. And it's remarkable. I just love everything you're doing. Tara McCullough says, loving this, love it. So she's enjoying this session too. So if anybody has questions, I still have the chat up. Let me see if Whitney, Whitney confessed her little toddler got a hold of her so we'll give a shout out to Whitney. We're glad you were here. So that was fun. And then Melissa, she said, perfect. And I totally agree. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Clearly, I get a little excited sometimes. So if I said anything too quickly or anybody has any questions or needs a recap, I'm happy to connect and support you in any way, because I have so much faith in this next generation. And I just know that they are creating the changes that we all want to see. And if we can give them tools like Young Living, it's going to be unbelievable.
Absolutely. And I just want to say congratulations on being one of those that inspires the next generation. Well done.